Hi sweetheart, I finally got around to making that video about the chooks food. I've put pretty much all the information inside this white folder that will be in the feeding place that's the western end of the vegetable hut opposite the Panama Berry, that place. So I'll have this sitting on top of the freezer, so if you ever want to check anything, everything is pretty much written in there. Okay, there's two buckets, one that's for the chickens and for the mama chicken. The other one with the yellow lid is for the chooks in the Syntropic garden, the dragon fruit garden, the goat paddock. And I'm going to say this over and over again, and I'm sorry because you're going to think I'm a broken record, but please don't let the goats eat any of the grains. They will want to, they're not allowed to, because it will kill them. Okay, so when you're replenishing, I've got 3 buckets here. One that's got grain in it, one's for the chickens, and one's got layer pellets. I've put them here to make it easier for you to see them, but they can be quite awkward, so feel free to move them around if you need to, but please don't put them outside because they go all soggy. Okay, so inside the grain one, I've bagged up what you need for the Syntropic and the dragon fruit and the goat runs. Inside the chicken one, I've bagged up what you need to do for the chickens and the mama chicken. And inside the layer pellet one, I've bagged up what you need to put in to the domes in the dome chooks in the veggie hut. I soak everything. This is the chicken one. If you can and you feel like it, I usually give the whole lot, half of one of these to the whole lot of chickens twice a day. If you don't have time to do it twice a day, just dump the whole lot into them. They'll survive. And these, I use a scoop, about 1.5 scoops per chooks, and then the last lot of chooks I just dump whatever's left over and then fill it up with water, etc. Not that it matters much, but I usually use tank water, which is the one here, which is the easiest one to get to, and I'll just take you to the different chook runs so you know what I'm talking about. So these are what I call the dome chooks. They only get laying pellets so we don't end up with all the grain growing in our veggie hut, because we've got enough weeds growing in the veggie hut. We don't need anything else growing. Oh my goodness, weeds, weeds, everywhere, weeds. So I'm heading towards the dragon fruit run. I call it the dragon fruit because, you know, dragon fruit. But it's where we have our chickens and our Indian game. So this is where our chickens and our mama chicken and the Indian game are. So to get inside, you just lift up that little thing. It's up to you whether you actually feed the bigger chickens in there. I'll show you how. I started feeding them separately because the mama chook was actually eating or shooing them all away, but these days they seem to be okay, so I don't think it matters. But we've got a dozen of the little babies and 9 of the medium-sized babies, and then in here is Mowgli, our Indian game, and her husband, and inside your lovely little hut there is where she lays, in the furthest corner, to make it so easy for you to get the eggs. She tends to lay every day, and she's considering she's an Indian game, she's probably the most productive chook that we have. So if you actually do feel like feeding the bigger chicks separately, just kick the brick out of the way. They're in here, and if you feed them in here, they're pretty well certain not going to have mama chook scare them away. But yeah, they go out and feed, so don't fuss. You can actually see one out there. Oh no, you can't, it's too bright. But they go out when they want to, so don't bother, it's not a big deal. this is the little latch for latching it, and if you do happen to, just make sure that the brick goes back there because it doesn't seal properly at the bottom. So I'm heading over to the Syntropic chooks. They're the ones that are in the dog runs opposite the driveway. These are probably going to end up being stewing birds. Do not expect eggs from them. It's highly unlikely. They are lazy and just food gobblers. But that's if you want to get in. One of these birds flies up at you, that one there. So chuck it through the door if you don't want to have a bird flying at you. If they lay at all, it's generally in there. These ones are equally tardy. I've got a feeling that they're eating their eggs. I don't know. But yeah, they haven't laid in ages. So, yep. But there they are. So the chooks in the goat run, I normally let them out when I let the goats out in the morning. I generally let the goats out of here into here and then out to here in the morning. And I make sure that these gates are closed, basically so that as much as possible they don't go onto the grass eating up those wormy things, but don't get too fussed about it. This is the pen for the chooks in the afternoon or at any time. They will just come in. They're probably in general quite good layers. You can see one's in there trying to have a bit of a run at it right now. And as you can see, if I come out here, the goats will come out as well, and that's why I get a bit concerned about will they come in at some stage and want to eat the grain of the chickens. So I generally just come in here, make sure that these gates are closed. Hello, Petal. Hello, gorgeous. And I come in and I turn off the electric fence and shut these gates and then feed the chooks and put them away in the afternoon so that the goats can't come in. So I make sure that the goats are either put away or whatever, but I make sure that they're nowhere around when I'm feeding the chooks. I think that's a thing. One thing to watch out though, if you are happening to go in here, you'll notice that Dotty in particular is always around trying to get in. So, yeah, you're a naughty girl.